This is Football 401k.
Broadcasting on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now your host, RJ Choppy.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Football 401k. I am RJ Choppy, and this is the greatness that is December football. Absolutely love it. It's a great time of year. It is a great time to be able to bet because this time of year, there are no more secrets. You know everything there is to know about everybody. You know everything there is to know about your team, about your division rivals, and you know quite a bit about the other teams. And that's why, it's very, very dangerous. I don't like to bet early in the season a ton. I will bet, but I may incrementally increase my bets as the year goes on. We have a couple of more weeks where we can really hammer these home. The final 2 weeks of the season really are much more difficult. If you've got things wrapped up, football is a game of emotion. That's why these bowl games, we'll get into some of these bowl games a little bit later on. But some of these bowl games are very difficult to bet on because football is 100% about desire, want to, talent. But if talent isn't caring and the talent isn't trying, then what good is the talent? And that doesn't happen as much in the NFL, but it will happen week 17. Or I guess this year it's week 18. So we will dive into all that. I've got, 4 picks of college football for the bowl games. That will be before next week's show. I've got 4 NFL games as well that we will get to. But we'll start with, again, more unnecessary panic about how the Cowboys are winning road games in the NFL. I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again. And I'm going to say it a little bit louder for those in the back. A road win in the NFL where you cover the spread is not a bad win. Not a bad win. I know it wasn't the prettiest win. I know there's some problems at quarterback right now. I know Dak knows he hadn't played well. He's out there doing the best he can, but he ain't played well lately. I don't know if he's hurt. Jerry Jones told us, myself and Sean Sharif, every Tuesday he joins us at 8:30 on 105 through the Fan. He told us Dak's healthy. Okay. If Dak's healthy, then what's wrong? And then we find out a little bit later on that teams since the Denver game have been playing him quite differently. And this is where it gets interesting. We laughed. I laughed. We mocked. I mocked Vic Fangio. Vic the Clown Fangio for claiming getting up to a pedestal, going to the highest mountaintop. What is the highest point? I live in Denton County. I think the highest point in Denton County is down the street from me. Highest point in Denton County. Said, we got the blueprint. I came up, me, not Bill Belichick, me. I came up with the blueprint to beat the Dallas Cowboys and to slow down this offense of Dak Prescott. And we laughed. And I laughed. And he was right. He came up with the blueprint. Teams are pass rushing, blitzing Dak considerably less than they did in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season. What was the one game where they didn't? And I've got the notes right here. I took them down in this trusty little legal pad of mine. LA Chargers. Dak was pressured, blitzed, I should say, 57% of the snaps he played against Tampa, 64% against Carolina. He had great games there. 41% against New England. Well, here you go. Against the Chargers, 15%. That was his worst game in the first, 6-7 weeks. And then you get to Denver, and it drops. You get to Vegas, and it drops. So teams are figuring out, don't blitz this cat, because Dak Prescott is fantastic against the blitz. Against the blitz. Against pressure. 15 touchdowns to 1 interception. I hate touchdown to interception ratio. It's such a bad lack of context stat, but I'm going to use it here because it supports my argument, which calls me a hypocrite, and I'm fine with that. His pressure percentage on man coverage is 32%. It's higher than zone. So, but they're not blitzing him as much, or they are blitzing him a lot. And the passer rating is 116.5 against man coverage. Why is that? Because Dak's receivers, CD, Amari, Gallup, you ain't going to cover them in man coverage. Dude, those guys are going to run around. They're going to run circles around those DBs. But in a zone, it's more advantageous for the defense. Dak doesn't see the holes as well. Against zone coverage, Dak's got 4 TDs and 7 picks this year. And his passer rating is only at 91. Less than a 91. It's 90.8. That ain't good. Now, 90.8 is not bad. You know, it's not bad. You're not going to be benched. But it ain't good either, man. Not in today's NFL. In today's NFL, where guys routinely are being in the hundreds in passer rating. Again, not the greatest stat, like QBR better. But all I have, the only information I was given was that. Teams are figuring out that if you don't blitz Dak, and if you only rush 4, mind you, the Cowboys' pass block win rate is 22nd in the league. That ain't good. That means that they're allowing a lot of guys to win their individual pass rush matchups against them. And that, my friends, is a recipe for disaster when the defense is able to drop 7 back and zone up. Because when the defense can only rush 4, and you've got 3 receivers and maybe a tight end with 7 guys on them, where are you throwing? Where's the hole? And this is on the quarterback. Man-to-man coverage is on the receiver, and zone defense is on the quarterback to be able to see those openings. And he hasn't done it. But I'm not panicking. He's still an elite quarterback. He's elite. And they've covered the last 2 spreads. I think that's a big deal. I know not everybody, I know it's not a big deal for everybody else. For me, if you cover a road spread and you're the favorite and you cover, which means you win by more points than Vegas thinks, and you're winning those games, back-to-back road games, and people are losing their minds over it, I think it's a bit much. I think it's a bit much to panic over Dak Prescott and the offense, and Kellen Moore, and saying that they're holding back plays. Look, guys, they've covered the last 2 spreads on the. They were up 24-zip in this game. Yeah, they let them back in. You don't want to see that. But I don't need the final score to know who the better team is when you're up 24-0 on the road. I just don't. I already know who the better team is. The better team is the one that was up 24-zip on the road. That's the better team. So that is the recap of last week's Cowboys game against Washington. Again, it ain't the prettiest of victories, but when you cover on the road, I'm going to give you a little pass. I'll give you a little bit of a pass on that one. Cowboys do get the victory. NFL this week, man, there are some good games, but this is about the COVID, as Mike McCarthy would say, as Jerry Jones would say. The COVID. It has taken over this sport. And I do wonder when all the sports will have, you know, Jeff Van Gundy said on I think it was the Mavs broadcast when against the Lakers, he would not be surprised if they go to a bubble very soon in the NBA. And, you know, a lot of leagues take their lead from another. You know, look at what happened in 2020. The moment the NBA shut down, everybody else did. I think the NCAA tournament said no fans first. But the moment they did that, I mean, it was kind of on notice. And COVID hadn't really hit the sports world just yet. We didn't even think it was possible that the players could get it. Well, players are getting it. You know, but this time last year, or March of last season of 2020, it was like, yeah, the fans are going to give it to each other. No. The fans are going to give it to the players, guys. And the players are going to give it to the fans. They may bubble up. And if they bubble up, does that mean the NFL bubbles up? Does the NFL try to do some kind of a bubble for their playoffs? I would highly doubt it. But you know, you got teams, you got players, 17 players on Washington, 14 on the Chargers, all have COVID, or have been, come down with some form of it, be it asymptomatic, unvac, whatever. They've got it. Rams got a ton of it. So it's bad. It's bad right now. Okay. What's bad is Urban Meyer, and he is out in Jacksonville. We will get into that. We will look at the College Bowl preview and a look ahead at some NFL games. We got our best bets coming up too as well. It's the Football 401k. I'm RJ Choppy. Thanks for joining us. Back in a sec.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office and your gym. For teaching grandma how to video call and teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with...
And I'm Jay Novacek, and we're both with...
United Ag and Turf, the official tractor provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
So, if you need a tractor to bale some hay, a mower to cut some grass, or a gator to get some chores done...
Get a John Deere at United Ag and Turf.
And then, let's get to work.
Hey, Jay, that's my line.
Well, not today.
Get to work with a John Deere tractor package that's just right for you and your budget. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man's Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar, and a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Back to Football 401k.
Welcome back to the Football 401k. I am RJ Choppy. Thanks for joining us. And, this is a big week in sports. Big week. We've got, of course, a big Cowboys game against the New York Football Giants coming up this weekend, where the Cowboys can clinch the NFC East with a win and some help. You're going to need a Washington loss. I do believe there's a way where if Washington and Philadelphia tie, it's very confusing. 3 different websites that I went to today had 3 different tie-breaking scenarios and 3 different scenarios for how the Cowboys can clinch. I don't know what the answer is. We had David Hellman on today on our radio show with Sean and myself on 105 through the Fan. And Hellman said basically that he will know that the Cowboys have a chance to clinch or have clinched when they bust out the hats. I like that. Just, let other people figure it out and you do your best you can with just following their lead. Okay. I want to get into Urban Meyer here. Brady Quinn had said something this week where he feels that the media never gave Urban Meyer a chance. I agreed with that. I don't believe they gave Urban Meyer a chance to succeed because they didn't give him a chance to fail. I'm a big proponent of continuity. Everyone deserves a chance to succeed. I also believe everyone deserves a chance to fail without the penalty of losing your job 13 games in. I don't like that. I don't subscribe to that. I am a stay the course continuity guy. When I hire somebody for that position, I'm not looking for immediate results. I'm looking for eventual results. And I know that's not the way the NFL works anymore. I hate it. I hate how they do it in college football. I hate how they do it in the NFL. You're recycling coaches every 2-3 years. The Giants aren't firing Joe Judge this year. You know why? Because the Giants have fired their last 2 coaches after 2 seasons. Meanwhile, this was an organization that basically never fired anybody for 70 years, right? The Giants were not a rash organization, but here they are. And that's why I was very surprised that Urban was fired. However, there does come a point where it's just too much. Did Urban deserve to be fired for a lot of the past moves he made? Maybe not individually. it's not my business what he does at a bar with some other girl. It's not my business. It's a bad look. It's a bad look for the NFL that one of their coaches is doing that. It's a bad look for the team. It's not my business. Do I care that he put Trevor Lawrence into a quarterback competition with Gardner Minshew? Hell no. If anybody says that is one of the missteps of the Urban Meyer tenure, you never should speak to that person again as a friend, and you should never read what they write as a writer. Competition is not a bad thing. Sorry. Trevor Lawrence has to earn the starting job. It wasn't a bad thing. The strength coach, what are you doing, man? Guys got racist allegations. You're going to hire him? That sounds a little bit like you just don't have any ability to read a room. Look at the year, man. Vet him, great. I understand if he's a friend of yours and you did an investigation and you felt he was wronged and that he didn't do what he said, I'm okay with that. But just to hire him and not explain it and expecting people just to accept that you hired him and that's why we should accept him. Well, that happens in college. It doesn't happen in the NFL. The NFL has different, media covering it. You get away with that in Tuscaloosa. You get away with that in Iowa City. You can get away with it in Baton Rouge. But you can't get away with it in the NFL level. There are national media guys that are all over the place, and they will circle. Again, if he thought the guy was wrong, then he could prove it. Well, tell us. And we'll listen. People will listen. They will. But he didn't. And then, of course, just the situation with Josh Lambo, which, by the way, I don't really believe that he kicked him. Where he's right, bam, kick. I'm kind of thinking it was one of those, you got your hands in your pocket. You know how you kick a tire? See how if it's got air in it, you're kicking the tire. It's not a love tap, but it's not hard either. It's like, why don't you mix in a field goal make today? But again, this is the stuff that goes on in college that you don't treat grown men with. The biggest problem I think that Urban Meyer had in that Josh Lambo situation wasn't even the kick / love tap, whatever you want to call it. I think it was the fact that he didn't even refer to his special teams guys by their name. Dude, these are adults. These are grown men. You have to refer to them by their name. You can't call them kicker, punter, long snapper. Now, you want to call them by their number? Hey, 4. Hey, 8. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. There's plenty of people on the team that refer to Dak Prescott as 4. Totally cool with that. Now, I wouldn't call him 4. I don't have that relationship with him. I would call him Dak, right? I wouldn't call him. I think you've got to be in a much better personal relationship with someone to be able to change how you refer to them. But you should never refer to them as kicker. That makes them subhuman. Well, you can't do that. You can't do that in this league. You can't do that anywhere, really. You don't sit there and go at work and say, "Hey, mail room dude, copy boy." You don't do that. No, come on now. No, you call them by their name, right? You're in a workplace environment. You might say intern. But even that, I don't even think that flies anymore, man. So Urban went. Now, what does this do for college coaches in the future? Personally, I think nothing. If you don't hire a college football coach for your NFL job based off of Urban Meyer being unable to run his own life, then you don't deserve to win. Every situation has to come and take place on its own merit. Guess what? College coaches succeed in the NFL at basically the same rate that assistant coaches that are in the NFL who get hired for NFL jobs succeed. There's just more of them. Percentage-wise, it's about the same. It's the way it is. Let's just say there's 10 jobs every year. What, maybe 1 or 2 go to a college coach? The other 9 go to a NFL assistant. So when 2 of those 9 NFL assistants succeed and 0 of the one college coach succeeds, that one college coach doesn't, people say, oh man, see, college coaches can't succeed in the NFL. Well, shoot, dude, 2 out of 9 did that were NFL coaches. And then in 2 years, that's 4 of 18. Well, if I've got one college coach who succeeds this year and then 2 more fail, I'm at 33%. That's better than 4 out of 18. So you got to look at it like that. These people with the volume numbers, again, I'm not into counting stats. You know this. If you listen to my show, I am not a counting numbers guy. I'm a stats rate, the rate stat dude. So I don't think this has a hill of beans to do with anyone hiring a college coach from here on out. I will say this. It won't be Jacksonville. Jacksonville is not going to hire a Dabo Sweeney, even though, it makes sense with the quarterback. No. They are going the NFL route. Now, mind you, Jim Harbaugh is the NFL route. He's been in the NFL before he went to a Super Bowl. If they were to hire Jim Harbaugh, which they're not going to, that's the NFL route. I can't see them going for the college coach after what just happened with Urban Meyer, and I'm cool with that. But the rest of the teams out there, I can't sit there and give him a pass for not taking a college coach based on what happened with Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer can't run his own life. Urban Meyer's a used car salesman. He's a bad dude. All right. He's a hell of a football coach. Urban Meyer is not an all-time great college football coach. He is a legendary college football coach. He is bigger than all-time great. He is better than all-time great. This is a legend. Flat out legendary college football coach. And he failed. Meanwhile, Cliff Kingsbury failed big time at Texas Tech. He wasn't that good of a coach. He had Patrick Mahomes, and he still found a way to lose like 5 games a year. He's dominating Arizona. There's no rhyme or reason. And why is he dominating? Because his quarterback is great. And why is Matt Rule failing? Because his quarterback stinks. It's kind of how this works in the NFL. Look around. Find me a great coach with a bad quarterback that's still a great coach and still winning games. Can't find it. You can't find it. It doesn't exist. Great coaches with bad quarterbacks. We saw what Bill Belichick did with Cam Newton last year. Wasn't any good. Now he gets a good quarterback who could throw. What's he doing? 9-4 or whatever the record is, 8-4. Tremendous. All right. That is segment number 2. We have our bowl picks. We've got not all of them. We're just doing a couple of them. So our best bets for this coming week around both college football and the NFL. I'm RJ Choppy. It is the Football 401k. All right. Welcome back to the Football 401k. Final segment time here. We're going to get some best bets for you. And I do love this time of year. Why do I love this time of year? Because I love betting on bowl games. Here's a couple of tricks for you when it comes to bowl game betting. If you are doing, say, if you are doing like a confidence pool, those confidence pools that people do, if you're doing one of those, please, I beg you, bet the early games with higher confidence. They're typically a little bit easier to pick. So bet the early games with a higher confidence meter. And let's just get right to it. Here we go. College football, best bets, App State and Western Kentucky. I love the over in this game. Over 66. Western Kentucky can slang that football around. App State is a very good college football program. Remember, they were in the FCS a couple years ago. They moved over to the bowl subdivision. And they've done pretty well. So I do like the over 66 in that one. Northern Illinois and Coastal Carolina, I like the under 63 in the UNI CC game. Okay, UNI And CC, you and I. There we go. Under 63. BYU, they are taking on UAB. You can get this at 6.5 or 7. I'm much more apt to take it at 6.5 than I am at 7. I think this is probably a 7-point victory for BYU. 6.5 is a great number for a favorite. 7's a terrible number for a favorite. So stay away from 7 if you can. If you have to buy it down a point or a half point, I mean, you don't want to get outside the minus 120. You really don't. Okay, now you're giving away any advantage you might have. So if you have to buy it down, I would probably say stay away from that game. If you don't have to buy it down and it's got it at 6.5, play it. Play BYU. Your best bet might be, if it's at 7, wait till kickoff. Maybe we'll get some late steam coming in on UAB. Liberty -9 against Eastern Michigan. Malik Willis is a fantastic quarterback for Liberty. He is going to be in the NFL. Keep an eye on it. Make sure he plays. Okay? If he doesn't play, don't bet this game. Make sure that Malik is in the lineup. And then finally, Wyoming -3 against Kent State. Wyoming's been a good team for me this year. I've had a really good read on them this season. So I like Wyoming minus the 3 points. All right, National Football League. I got 4 selections for you. Man, it is tough sledding in Cleveland. Baker's out. Stefanski's out. They've got like 14 guys on the COVID list. Vegas has gone from like a 5-point dog to a 1-point favorite. Give me Vegas minus the 1. Simple. All you got to do is bet them to win, and you are at least going to push if they win. New England plus 2.5 against Indy. These are 2 of the top 10 teams in DVOA. Let me rephrase that. These are 2 of the 3 teams who have a top 10 offense, defense, special teams ranking in DVOA. The 3 teams are Dallas, Indianapolis, New England. New England and Indy are playing here. I like New England. They got a better quarterback. They got a better coach, even though I like Frank Reich. And I think they have a better roster. I know the game's in Indy, but, man, Indy is soft. When it comes to playing New England, Indy is soft. They're not soft, but when it comes to playing them, they are. Give me New England plus the 2.5. I like the Rams minus 4.5 against Seattle. I am not buying what Russ is cooking. I would not eat what Russ is cooking until Pete Carroll sells his restaurant. Pete needs to get out of there. Let Russell take over this football team. Get a real offensive guy in there. Get somebody in here who doesn't punt on 4th and 1 and let Russ cook. I'm taking the Rams minus the 4.5. And then finally, Tennessee minus 1 against Pittsburgh. This is the time of year, Tennessee, they better get it going. You know, they've got a chance still at the 1 seed in the AFC. They got to get this win. And I don't trust Ben in Pittsburgh as far as I can throw him. I can't throw him very far. But I'm taking Tennessee here minus the 1 point. That'll do it for us on the Football 401k. We'll have a complete bowl preview next week, because next week should be the final show before really all those games prior to the national championship. The Final 4 games are going on. So next week we'll have the rest of the bowl games, and then the week after we'll do the Final 4 and the New Year's Day bowls for you here on the Football 401k. Thanks for joining us. Let's win some money. I'm RJ Choppy. Talk to you next week at the Football 401k.